People. Does anybody watch Jungle Inc? That was my best Jungle Inc impersonation there. Jungle Inc, if you came to ALGO from the XRP community, Jungle Inc used to do a ton of videos. I think he still does quite a few. Maybe not quite as many as he did previously, but his intro was always, "What is up, good people?" Anyway, what is up, good people? I'm Monty Allen. This is not Jungle Inc, although you should go follow him because I am your crypto nerd. You're watching a day late in an algo short because this is yesterday's Algorand news. If you're out there in the wild on Twitter, hit hashtag algonews. There's a good chance I'll find you and I'll put you in the news. Speaking of news, let's see what we got here today. Oh, before we jump to this, I gotta remind you, because apparently a lot of you watch these videos, but you're not actually subscribed, so go double check right now. Please make sure that you are actually subscribed. Hit the little bell notification so you know when I post these. It's not always the same time every day. Sometimes I have live interviews. And I notice a bunch of you missed the live interviews because you didn't realize that they were live. I'm not really good at getting that information out. I just do them when I do them. So hit that bell notification. You'll find out, hey, did Monty go live with the CEO for AlgoDex or PayScript or, you know, all those other interviews that I do? You want to get notified. So go double check that for me right now. I would appreciate it. I appreciate you. And it's nice to be appreciated, right? So here we go. Up first, Capgemini. So Capgemini put out this tweet here. And Sudhir is, he holds a position with Capgemini. And he tagged a bunch of people in here. Capgemini Banking, Bose, which is the CEO of the financial service division there. Amit, who is the COO, Financial Services. Neelish, who is, gosh, I forget what Neelish's position is. He didn't post it here. And Silvio. So we know a bunch of these folks, but it doesn't really say what they're doing. It just says they're harnessing the power of decentralized future and financial services. That sounds like some gibberish, doesn't it? It sounds like good gibberish, but if you're just a layperson, you're trying to like hash this out. Like, what is this, Monty? How are we harnessing the power? And what is decentralized futures in financial services? Like, what? So let's go check it out. So Capgemini is listed on the official partner page in Algorand. So they list them here, and it just says, hey, they're a global leader in partnering with companies. Well, that's good because we're a partner. So they're a global leader in this partnering thing. All right. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to transform and manage businesses to harness the power of technology. So when I search for Capgemini, they are referenced in a ton of research papers, and their work is often referenced in a lot of different industries, not just crypto. In fact, their crypto work has been limited to up to this point. They are traditional finance and traditional technology company. I mean, they have some cutting edge stuff, but it's still like traditional business to business. And you can go check them out. Their 2020 revenue was what, 16 billion euros. So pretty decent sized company, I would say, and a long history. They're 50 years. So let's go check out their website. So let's go look at their technology partners, and we recognize all of these names, right? Salesforce, MuleSoft, you got AWS, Adobe, like it, right? So everybody's in here, and then we go check out the industries, banking and capital markets, and there's not a whole lot of tech, crypto references here. It just talks about their traditional finance. You know, they spout some numbers here, some experience, and it's good, right? This is what we want. We want somebody who can bridge the gap between DeFi and traditional finance. Now, they are referenced in the Future of Payments, which is a PDF that came from an event in December of last year. Although it is a very passing reference, and really it's just in regards to their surveys and some of their research. Now, Silvio was also at this particular event. So because Capgemini was referenced, does that mean they had some representatives there? I don't know. Maybe they're just running the same circles. It's hard to find some connections here. There's also this event, which was a virtual event, actually. So, you know, there's no physical interaction here, but they were at least on the same building, at least in part, right? Because we've got Silvio here, of course, and then we've got Sudhir down here from Capgemini. So he was a panelist from Panelist Discussion 2. So not a great connection there, but obviously they are indeed running in the same circles. Now, Capgemini, what do I think that they can bring to the table? Pure speculation. I don't have any insider knowledge here. But I believe that they are facilitators in this particular case. They're going to provide advice. They're going to provide maybe some infrastructure on how to facilitate some traditional finance connections, and maybe put Algorand in a position where they could work more with Circle or with some other big players, coming out there. So we'll talk more about them in a second. Next up, Authentium. Authentium. So Authentium, dawn of a new age. So Authentium put out this this recent Twitter. They just started their Telegram. Authentium is kind of coming onto the stage. It's a new project, new to us anyway. They've been around for a little while in thought, and here's what they're trying to do. They're trying to revamp the supply chain, specifically not so much for services or for just hard goods, but primarily for food. So they want to revamp the supply chain for food. So from farm to table, and there's a huge disadvantage. There's these large suppliers of, let's just say produce. And produce might be grown in Mexico. And there's a huge supply chain to get, Mexican pineapples, let's just say, for example, to, a good portion of the world. And those supply chains are well-oiled machines at this point in time. They're huge. And so how, if you are just a small-time farmer, creating your guava or your pineapple or your tomatoes, how are you going to compete with these big giant conglomerates that are able to pool resources? Well, that's where Authentium comes in. Authentium thinks that, hey, they can help make the food chain supply more efficient because of blockchain. So if we pool all of our resources and we use that on blockchain to make everything efficient. So let's just say we tag this batch of tomatoes. We can track it through the blockchain, all of the transactions that take place, and it would be efficient. We know what's coming in. We can direct traffic that way. Anyway, it's an interesting idea. It's not come to full fruition yet, but I know that my good friend Bilal is working with them. He kind of turned me on to them. I don't know if he's working with them, but he said, hey, go check them out. And they've got some interesting stuff. And then obviously the tweets came, the website's here, and they've got some great articles on here that just came out. So go check them out. Do your own research and see what they're about. But it seems like it's crypto for a good cause, and I am a fan of crypto for a good cause. All right, Fortier. Fortier is also doing something for a good cause. They have this Choicecoin, which is making the rounds now, and they're doing what? Mainnet? Choicecoin will help with governance issues. So you can choose with your Choicecoin. So if you are, let's just say you're a company and you have some kind of employee-led initiatives, and you want to figure out, okay, how do they vote, and how do I make sure that these are accurate votes? They're not just sending multiple emails, or it's not secure. Well, you can issue Choicecoin. And Choicecoin is verifiable, it's authenticated, it's on the blockchain, right? So there's no double voting. So everybody gets distributed a certain amount of Choicecoin, and they can choose. And I believe it's meant to be like ranked choice voting, where you choose like, okay, I got 10 Choicecoins. I'm going to do 60% towards this and 3% towards that, and 2. So you have your first option, your second option, and your third option, kind of a thing. Interesting. Anyway, it's all verifiable. It's on the blockchain. They hit mainnet today. I don't know if they're going to have any use cases for Algorand governance, but their Choicecoin runs on the Algorand blockchain. So keep that in mind. All right. Big news today. CirclePay, creator of USDC, intends to become a full-service or full-reserve national commercial bank. Whoa. Okay. So USDC is primarily running on ETH. So it's running on ETH right now. It does run on Algorand, and I'm not sure why it's not running more on Algorand, but it's okay. Let's dive into this. So first up, Circle it wants to go public. They did essentially right through a special purchase acquisition group, a SPAC, right? So $4.5 billion valuation. That just happened, right? So that's July. So that just happened. 2 months later, no, 1 month later, Circle wants to become a chartered crypto bank amid the crackdown. So there's lots of news about regulations coming in play, and Circle's like, well, forget this. I don't want to be outside of the circle. I want to be inside of the circle. See what I did there? So they want to be part of the insider group. They want to be part of the government regulated banking system, which is not a bad move, I don't think, on their behalf, right? So this is Bloomberg. So we're not looking at a crypto specific media right now. This is Bloomberg. So this is big time. So now he's saying, yeah, okay, we are looking at it. We want to investigate it. Forbes covered it as well. So this was picked up by Bloomberg and Forbes. They want to become a full reserve national commercial bank. Commercial bank. So they're not trying to be a Bank of America type retail bank. They want to be a commercial bank where they can service businesses and exchanges. Now, there are some big companies that do this in the UK, and Circle says, hey, why are people sending our money overseas? Coinbase partnered with them on a couple of things. Why are we sending it overseas? Let's make this all legitimate and keep it in-house. Now, interestingly, Kraken is also a bank, and there's one other one. There's a couple other ones, but Kraken is probably the best well-known. So let's go check it out, though. So here's the actual blog post. Now, the blog post isn't like, it's not a fully formed plan. It just says, here's our intention. It didn't give a date. It didn't tell us a timeline. It doesn't tell us, like, how serious are they about doing this. It just says that they're interested and they want to do this and they're putting it out there. And it might just be that Jeremy's putting this out there to see what the feedback is. Maybe he just wants to see, like, okay, what's the appetite? Am I going to get a lot of pushback? Is this a possibility? Maybe he's just kind of testing the waters. So a full reserve national commercial bank. Full reserve meaning, one-to-one dollar banking. And you also get some other protections, though, when you become a full reserve national commercial bank. Now, maybe that opens up the possibilities. Retail banks, they don't have one-to-one backing. They have a partial reserve that's in their banking system. Now, they've got assets certainly to cover everything. But if you go down to the bank, if everybody who had money at, First Texas Bank or Bank of America or Chase or Wells Fargo or whatever, U.S. banks you're talking about, went down and said, give me back my money, they'd have a hard time doing it because they don't have just that much cash. They have a bunch of money in, investments they lend out, and they do other things with it, right? They make their money work for them. Full reserve is a little different, but maybe this opens up the door to where that gives them some more flexibility legally without, running into issues like Tether did. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a different avenue to go. Who knows? But I think that this is good for the crypto community in general. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had this power, if they decided that, yes, they do want to go with that, if they didn't run more often with the Algorand version of USDC. And it's difficult to find the Algorand version of USDC right now. I'll be honest, there's only 3 or 4 exchanges where I can put my ALGO version USDC. It's much cheaper to transfer, it's convenient, it's efficient, it gets there faster, but for whatever reason, the ETH version of USDC is just more prevalent. And it might just be a case of where it's, got there first and, it's hard to break old habits. So, but maybe this would go through and they would produce the Algorand version of USDC, and that would become the interoperable, between exchanges for liquidity purposes. Maybe the ALGO version would go through. Does that really help the Algorand community or the cost or price of ALGO? Hard to say. I mean, I'm not usually a price speculator. I think it's good for the brand. I think it's good for the stability of the company. I think those things might have some I don't know, some cursory impact. But as far as like actual dollar amount, I mean, it's just a stable coin. USDC is stable for what, good or bad. It's just stable, right? So I don't see any direct correlation, but it's probably good for the brand. And it's good for Algorand to gain notoriety and prevalence, I think, in the industry. So there you go. That's my take on that. That's 14 minutes. You're never getting back. Make sure you do that subscribe thing, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Stay safe out there.